Okay, so we begin another day. Abhayagiri Thanksgiving retreat. And I've picked up the theme of the four foundations of mindfulness, and one, because it's so foundational to all of our practice, whether it's for settling the mind and developing some meditative stillness, or for insight and realization. It is the central practice for our cultivation, and of course, the tendency for, say these days, mindfulness being fairly I would say being utilized in a more secular way, and which is fine, but I think it's helpful to really try to understand the kind of the depth and the extent to which mindfulness can be applied and can be cultivated. And how unique these teachings that the Buddha gave are to how fortunate we are to have them, and to be able to explore how to use them. But I think for all of us that have gathered for this Thanksgiving retreat, I think the vast majority of people already have a lot of experience in practice, and a lot of time that has been spent in cultivation. The in developing the meditation, because sometimes it's the four foundations of mindfulness get kind of separated out from the meditation, and of course the Buddha, it doesn't appear that that's what he was advocating, but trying to give us the tools to integrate these four foundations of mindfulness into our daily life, into meditation, into investigation, contemplation. In developing the meditation, because one of the words that is used to say denote meditative calm is samadhi, and the ordinary translation or older translation or more common translation tends to be concentration. I think it was Ajahn Dhamma who mentioned just that, concentration tends to denote a certain tightness. Whenever one thinks about concentrating the mind, one gets tense. And for the Buddha to reflect on, well, was it samadhi? Is much more a stability of mind, steadiness of mind, clarity of mind, and there's a nice definition of samadhi in the discourses. It's this is the Majjhima 44, which is a series of question and answers with the Bhikkhuni Dhammadina and the layman Upasika Visakha, and he asks, what is samadhi? And her answer is quite succinct, but very, very useful. In that samadhi is unification of mind, ekakata citta, unification of mind. Sometimes one-pointedness of mind, which can be a bit similarly kind of tight, trying to make your mind one-pointed, and because that one, what kind of point are we thinking about when we want it to be one-pointed? Lupa Samedo speaks quite skillfully of the in terms of say like one-pointed, having a point that includes rather than a point that excludes, and that to me is really useful in the sense of when we bring our mind to one point, it's an expansive quality that includes our experience, includes our perspectives, includes the different faculties of mind, as opposed to one point that we try to hold doggedly onto and then exclude everything else so that it doesn't disrupt our precious little one point, and that because we can get very rigid sometimes, or very possessive. My one-pointedness of mind, that I don't want anything to impinge on. And of course that's inherently unstable and uncomfortable, generally not even pleasant. So that a point that includes is including different faculties of mind that are integrated, that are unified, that are working together. So that unification of mind is samadhi. That unifying, working to integrate the different faculties of mind. So the Dhammadina said unification of mind is samadhi. The themes of samadhi are the four foundations of mindfulness. Its themes are the four foundations of mindfulness. So then that integration, unification of these various four foundations of mindfulness, working together, not working at odds with each other, not in conflict with each other, not confused within itself. That's its themes. And the mind becomes very stable, very steady. And it can rely on, as a theme, anything that is within the range of those four foundations of mindfulness. Various aspects of the body, the aspects of feeling, different content within the mind, and the moods of the mind, and the different aspects of Dhamma contemplation, Dhamma themes. So that unification of mind allows. It's a point that includes, and that it's not at odds with itself. It's integrated, unified, and of course it's settled. And then the requisites of of samadhi are the four right efforts. And the four right efforts are much more a qualities of mind as opposed to any particular activity that one is engaging in or is being putting tremendous amount of energy and effort into, because we can put a lot of energy and effort into something and doesn't mean it's a right effort. It might be impressive, but it might not align itself with the with right effort in terms of the Eightfold Path, and the definition of the right efforts are worth contemplating, because it's much more concerned with the wholesome and unwholesome qualities of mind, skillful and unskillful qualities of mind, the kusala, akusala qualities of mind. And so whatever effort is for the relinquishing of unwholesome, unskillful qualities of mind that have arisen is right effort. Or the effort that is for the preventing of unwholesome qualities that have yet to arise is right effort. I mean, we know you get to know the mind, you get to know its habits, and you know what trajectory it tends to go on. And sometimes you have to be preventative and circumspect in what you what you let the mind indulge in, or what you get in contact with, because it can bring up unskillful qualities. So that the effort that we put forward in terms of preventing unwholesome qualities that have yet to arise is right effort. The bringing into being, the effort that we put forth in terms of bringing into being wholesome qualities, skillful qualities that have yet to arise, that is right effort. Or the effort that we put into maintaining, stabilizing wholesome qualities that have arisen is right effort. So the effort is much more concerned with the qualities of mind, state of the mind, state of the heart, and learning to be alert and attentive to what works. What's the effect on the mind? Sometimes when we say right effort, it means we should be doing something, and sometimes that's really true. But sometimes learning how to relax, learning how to not get entangled in some of our obsessive tendencies. That's right effort. Learning how to step back sometimes. So that those are all aspects of right effort. So that's the requisite. So the Dhammadina says, samadhi is unification of mind. 4 foundations of mindfulness are its themes. 4 right efforts are its requisites, and any cultivation, development of those is the developing of samadhi. So that recognizing that the way that we approach, say, samadhi or our meditation, our quest for meditative stillness and stability is, in reality, we've got quite a broad base of what we can be attending to, and learning how to take an interest in those different themes and requisites, and realizing that these 4 foundations of mindfulness are integral to cultivation of samadhi, of settling the mind, stilling the mind, unifying the mind. And yesterday I ran through the different foundations. And there's a lot that can be attended to, which doesn't mean that we say, oh, there's a lot, so it's going to be confusing. It's a lot, and we can choose what works. It's a lot, and we can delight in the opportunity to develop skill with a variety of themes, and that keeps our practice fresh, keeps our interest in the practice, in the cultivation. In the discourse, the very first because the very first section is mindfulness of the body, and then the very first aspect of mindfulness of the body is mindfulness of breathing, and it's specific to how it relates to the body, say, as opposed to the Anapanasati Sutta, the discourse on mindfulness of breathing that covers the whole four foundations of mindfulness. But the mindfulness of the body is your very first theme that the Buddha emphasizes in how we establish mindfulness, and I think it's important to recognize that is not just some arbitrary decision of the Buddha's, but that mindfulness of the body is a extremely important basis and a way of cultivation of mindfulness, cultivation of all of our practice. There are many places throughout the discourses where the Buddha emphasizes the importance of mindfulness of the body, and one that comes to mind, and it's not the Buddha, it's Ananda, and it's from the Therigatha, and this Therigatha are the verses of the elders, and these particular verses are verses that were from just after the Buddha passed away, and Ananda is he's lamenting the passing of the Buddha. He's expressing his kind of grief and loss of the Buddha's passing, and you express it. Of course, it's very beautiful and very poignant. But then he he's reflecting on what a tremendous friend or Kalyanamitta the Buddha was to say to Ananda himself, but then to everybody. But then Ananda kind of wraps it up just by saying, there is no friend that can compare to mindfulness of the body. It's very beautiful. It's that sense of how, yes, there is loss, yes, there is grief, yes, the Buddha was an extraordinary awakened being, but mindfulness of the body is our ally, is our companion that can be with us throughout our whole cultivation of this path and development of this way to freedom, way to liberation, way to an ending of dukkha. So it's this mindfulness of the body, Of course, there's many places in the Dhammapada, but one particular verse always struck me. Something where it says, they awaken, they are fully awake, those, say, disciples of Gautama's disciples, who immerse themselves day and night in mindfulness of the body. So that returning to mindfulness of the body, that makes it tangible. Having the body as an anchor is a really helpful mirror or anchor for our mindfulness, for our reflection. It gives us a good readout of what are we actually feeling, what are we experiencing? Are we alert? Are we dull? Are we energetic? Are we feeling kind of some lassitude? Are we settled? Are we agitated? So the body is going to give you a pretty clear readout. The mind, not so much. I remember Ajahn saying, you can't really trust the mind. Mind's a liar and a cheat. And of course, we do have to rely on the mind, but it's so quick, and of course, it runs on its particular biases and programs and justifications and its stories. It's got its own stories that it loves to tell itself all the time. So that returning to mindfulness of the body in order to get a clear, a solid anchor for oneself, and recognizing that it's that cultivation of mindfulness of the body that helps us to be clear and to have that continuity of awareness and attention, becoming more and more familiar. So when the Buddha begins his explanation of mindfulness of the body, he begins with the breath, and of course gives basic instruction of going to a quiet place, and going to a quiet place, empty hut, foot of a tree. Those are idioms that are in the suttas, and to say we're this is an online retreat, and the little tiles on the screen, all of the various meditators that are participating in the retreat, and everybody's in a quiet place. There tends to be, say, individuals on the screen, or or couples, and it's not. I don't see anybody set up their Zoom meeting. I can downtown San Francisco on a street corner. I mean, nobody's done that. Everybody is actually in a quiet place. One is in a suitable environment as the Buddha recommended. And then sitting cross-legged and holding oneself erect. And that that kind of posture depends on one's capability. The main thing is sitting erect. Say even myself. I mean, I can't sit very comfortably cross-legged right now. It's not really an impingement on the ability to, say, meditate or cultivate the four foundations of mindfulness. It's helpful. There's a certain energy that's there. But then even sitting erect, depends how one defines that. Like for myself, I'm finding, it hurts to sit erect. I've got that kind of bilateral hernias, that one of them being incarcerated. They sort of, even though these days surgery is much improved from former times with laparoscopic surgery, still your body doesn't like things poking around and cutting and stitching and putting in some kind of mesh or something inside your body. It doesn't like it. It's uncomfortable, but it is a discomfort that is for the say long-term benefit and for healing. So it takes some time. So we just have to adjust. Each person is having to adjust for the particular limitations that one has. Adjusting the posture, adjusting how we deal with the posture, so that there is an alertness, and that's the main thing. Is that we're not stressing the body out too much, so that there's a discomfort and it leads to a lack of alertness, or we're relaxing too much so that impinges on the alertness. So it's trying to get that balance, and that's of course a right effort. Is about balance, getting a balance of energy and comfort and ease, so that there is a solid base of alertness within the heart. So that cultivation of alertness, and then the Buddha just says, mindfully one breathes in, mindfully one breathes out. So just taking the rhythm of the breath coming in, the rhythm of the breath going out, and being alert and present to that rhythm of the in-breath, rhythm of the out-breath, and allowing that awareness and alertness to be well established within the body, and to allow it to kind of spread through both the perception of the body and the experience of the body. How do we experience the body? So it's a tuning into that bodily experience with the breath as the vehicle. Then the Buddha moves into the actual exercise of mindfulness of breathing. Breathing in long, one knows. I breathe in long, breathing out long, one knows. I breathe out long. Breathing in short, one knows. I breathe in short. Breathing out short, one knows. I breathe out short. And it's pretty simple, pretty basic. We can complicate it pretty quickly, and we do. But the verb that the Buddha uses in this context is pajanati, and pajanati is the verb to know, but it has a qualifier or amplifier in that it's to fully know, fully knowing the long breath as it comes in, the long breath as it goes out, short breath as it comes in, short breath as it goes out. And it doesn't mean that one is prioritized over the other. Like if only I could breathe a perfect breath and my mind would become peaceful. That's not how it works. It's just knowing what you're experiencing, knowing what is the rhythm of the breath. As one's breathing in long, okay, it's known fully, it's known clearly, it's known completely, and it's just being present with that sense of the breath coming in, taking a note of it, and acknowledging, recognizing, oh, okay, that's a long breath, it's going out, okay, that's kind of long. Sometimes it's short. Is it short because of whatever reason? Who knows? But that's all one needs to do. Just recognizing okay, these are short breaths, these are long breaths. It's going in, it's going out. Not complicating, not proliferating, not turning it into something that is idealized. Sometimes we breathe in long, sometimes we breathe in short. It's just knowing it clearly and returning to that fundamental foundation. Also, in terms of that verb pajanati, the because the verb form is pajanati, to know clearly, to know fully. The noun form of the verb pajanati is panya, is the word that's often translated as wisdom or discernment. So that gives an indication of the foundation of, say, wisdom in, say, from a Buddhist perspective, or discernment in the Buddhist perspective, is this kind of direct knowing, as opposed to some speculative, philosophical conjecture about something, or being able to argue a case for something. You don't have to argue a case for whether was that a long breath or a short breath. I mean, you know it clearly. And getting used to knowing something clearly in this present moment, right? Because we second guess ourselves, we doubt ourselves, we worry, did we get it right? And all of that is an addition to all that we need to do. Is breathe in long, you know you breathe in long. Breathe out long, you know you breathe out long. Breathe in short, you know you breathe in short. You breathe out short, you know you breathe out short. That's to say that's all we need to do is a bit sort of flip, but it's also pay attention to what happens when we limit ourselves to that fundamental activity of knowing. Because then that's where the body is really helpful, in that sense of tuning into that rhythm, tuning into that, knowing that clearly, and then you start recognizing what the mind starts to throw up. And because it starts to doubt. Is this all there is I need to do? Or when one's paying attention to in-breath or out-breath, and then all of a sudden, just stuff comes up in the mind. Some past grievance, some kind of memory of something that where one has felt wronged, or one is holding a grudge somehow, or there's an irritation that's there, and so aversion, ill will, anger you can be just sitting, paying attention to the in-breath and the out-breath, and then be swamped with aversion, ill will, kind of a rage, and all it was trying to do was breathe in and breathe out. What happened there? Well, it's worthy of investigation and recognition, or at least taking note. Okay, but come back to the breath, or some kind of the amount of things that say desire will throw up, as that will worthy of objects of desire that become very attractive, interesting. It's amazing how many interesting things can come up when you're just paying attention to one, trying to pay attention to an in-breath and an out-breath, because it's quite a neutral object, and it'll highlight these different movements of mind, and that's mindfulness of the body as a great anchor for being able to give a mirror to what the mind is doing. One doesn't have to invest a whole lot of energy into figuring it all out, but helping to settle things is very skillful. The next part of the mindfulness of breathing is connecting it to the body, in the sense of experiencing the whole body. I breathe in, experiencing the whole body. I breathe out, and that's sort of connecting the body, connecting the mindfulness to the body. And the Pali is Sambhagaya Patisangveti. So Sambhagaya, the whole body, all of the body. And commentarial tradition says that this is the breath body, but that's a bit of a stretch. In this wording of it, that Sambhagaya, it's just referring. It's not as say complicated as that. It just is, this whole body. And pati sangveti, experiencing, Ajahn Jeff translates sensitive to, which that's a good translation, because the root of the pati sangveti, veti is, say, the same root as, say, vedana, feeling. And then pati and sang are both amplifiers. So feeling fully the whole body. I breathe in, feeling fully the whole body. I breathe out. And that's a tuning in to the body. With the rhythm of the breath and that sensation of breath and acknowledgement, recognition of long and short, then experiencing it within the body. And the last one is the pasambayanga, which means like calming, settling, tranquilizing, which I don't like so much. Calming is nicer. Calming and this is a different word. Kaya sankharang. So it's like the body, the bodily formations. And this is, there are, in the suttas, the Buddha does, what is the bodily formation? Or what is the kaya sankhara, body conditioner, is another way. And that is the in and out breathing. So that is a direct, and one can interpret it and fine enough as the whole body. So calming the body, but also calming the breath body. Calming, settling, bringing it to tranquility, allowing it to be tranquil rather than stirring it up. So conscious effort at settling and calming and allowing it to pervade the whole body, allowing it to be, let's say, riding on or using the breath as a vehicle for the whole body. Because when we settle the breath and calm the breath, you'll find that the whole body will become more calm, more settled, more tranquil. And And that's a skillful tool, skillful application of our attention and our effort. And so that there's that quality of settling, the quality of just experiencing, being sensitive to the whole process of the body and the breath, tuning into how to settle, how to calm, bring calmness into that process of breathing, how we're holding the body. Because we can meditate and create an enormous amount of tension and tightness, trying to meditate, trying to quote unquote concentrate the mind. And I think this attention to calming, to settling, to awareness, to fully knowing, to being able to see clearly, to recognize clearly what we're experiencing, what the experience is in the present moment, and allowing. Because when we do that, there's the quality of knowing, the quality of awareness builds on itself. It gains momentum. It feels good to be clear and settled. It feels good to be aware and steady. It's very natural. So tuning into that, experiencing it, sensitive to that, and sensitive to that calming. The image that the Buddha gives for that cultivation of mindfulness of breathing is of a turner, say like a lathe operator, one who operates a lathe, and so in that turning, when was turning a lathe, for most people, if anybody has any familiarity with a lathe in the workshop, they all run on electric motors, so they're spinning all the time. But of course, in the Buddha's time, that wasn't the case. But they had lathes, they had tools that they used for turning things. And from my experience, when I first went to live with Ajahn Chah in the northeast of Thailand, and the conditions were very, very basic, very simple. But we used to make much of our own requisites, and one of the things that we made was these big umbrellas that we called a klot in Thai, and part of the making of the umbrella, you had to use a lathe to turn these. You would use very hard wood, and making the handle for it and whatnot. But and there was two basic ways. But it was either you have two people and put a rope around the whatever you're trying to lathe, and you pull it like this. One monk could be pulling back, the other monk could be doing the turning, and or doing the lathing, and one monk could be doing. But so that knowing it's long, knowing it's short, as a lathe operator or a lathe operator's apprentice, knows that this is a long turn, this is a short turn, so that you can trip yourself up if you don't know that it's long or short. The other way that you do it is you have it on your own. You do it yourself, but it was like with a piece of bamboo and a rope, and you tie it to the spindle, and you turn the piece of wood that way, but it's just using a step. So it would only go one way, and then it would release. So it's going back and forth, just like the breath going in, breath going out. And so that image that the Buddha uses, for me, is meaningful. But I think for a lot of people, because associate a lathe with an electric motor, and it's just sort of spinning constantly. But in ancient times, that isn't. They didn't have electric motors, and you relied on your own manpower to either your leg or a fellow monk, and that's how you would. It would be turned, and it would be going back and forth, and so that image of and so it's also an image of a craft or a skill. It isn't. Say the image isn't of a monk sitting and reading a book about mindfulness of breathing. It's about a hands-on skill, craft that one is engaging with a set of tools, and creating something, making something. So similarly, that's our meditation, our mindfulness of breathing, our cultivation of the four foundations of mindfulness. This is it's a craft, it's a skill that we have to get hands-on with, engage with it, and learn from that engagement and become skillful with it. So those are some reflections on mindfulness of breathing and mindfulness of the body.